I, Acererak the Eternal, beacon you to your doom. Come, foolish ones, plunder my treasures if you dare. Others have tried, all have failed. From your skin tapestry shall be woven, and your bones will cover my tomb. Only I'm beyond death's reach. Only I know the secret to true immortality.
Hello, my name is Kate and I'm gonna tell you the story of one famous lich in D&D. Acererak, also known as the Devourer, Lord of Unlife, Acererak the Eternal, Acererak of the Scarlet Robes, is a powerful old lich in the world of D&D. He is an embodiment of evil, sparing no living sin. Hungry for knowledge and power, Acererak is a very arrogant and loves savor his victory, greatness and strength over mortals. After living over 1000 years, he studied a billion aspects of time and immortality, and created many tombs that served as traps for treasure-hungry adventurers. But how did he become like this? Let's figure it out. Nobody knows the real name of Acererak. As Acererak wrote in his diaries, he was born from the union of the human woman Katseri and the demon Tarnhem. The demon broke out of summoner control, killed him and taken his wife Katseri by force. Therefore, the race of Acererak is in fact a cambion. His mother was able to survive childbirth and despite the deformities didn't abandon the child and raised him up to 10 years until someone burned their village to the ground. All his life Acererak blamed his father, demon Tarnhem, for the arson and took a serious grudge on him. Much later, when Acererak was in full power, he found and imprisoned Tarnhem forever in one of his tombs. Acererak survived in the fire thanks to his kinship with demons, but his mother did not. It was this moment that pushed Acererak down to the dark path and the path to necromancy, as well as to hatred of humanity. According to the Tomb of Horrors 4th edition, Acererak was born on Orcus, a planet in Grayhawk setting, and thus Vecna himself saved young Acererak from fire and made him his apprentice. Years passed and Acererak grew. He studied necromancy every day, driven by his hatred and desire to regain what was lost, and eventually became a powerful wizard. It is said that one day he repaid Vecna by saving him from impending death and then left him in search of own path. Acererak's strength grew. The motivation to resurrect his mother apparently faded when Acererak himself appeared before the threshold of death. His knowledge and skills allowed him to prepare a ritual for rebirth into a lich. While studying the secrets of immortality, Acererak began to serve the demon lord Orcus, the demon lord of the dead. Using his name, he manipulated the cult of Orcus to start building the Tomb of Horrors for him. Acererak experimented a lot on how to achieve immortality. He looked at other ways other than becoming a lich, perhaps in order to figure out which way would bring him more power. One of the ways was to preserve the brain in a magic jar. The brain continued to function even while in the jar and could influence the environment through telepathy. Acererak was not happy with the success of experiments and therefore stopped at the transformation. As Acererak researched secrets of Lichdom, he came into conflict with a paladin named Sir Pentivel, who was a leader of the Church of Pelor and rising in ranks of faith. They clashed in battle and Acererak had to retreat, plotting a revenge on him for many years. While doing that, Acererak still pursued a goal to become a lich. He had to prepare a potion called the Elixir of Lichdom and drink it on the full moon. The potion kills the owner, and with all conditions of the ritual fulfilled, it turns into a lich. According to the Lords of Darkness Sword, the potion and the ritual is very expansive and includes 9 components: arsenic, belladonna, blood of the virgin human killed by wyvern poison, blood of demi-human killed by face spider, blood of vampire, heart of human killed by poisoning with arsenic and belladonna, reproductive glands from 7 giant moths deaths less than 10 days ago, venom from face spider, and a venom from wyvern. After performing the ritual, Acererak gained power and immortality, imprisoning his soul in a phylactery. Only by breaking it can you kill a lich.
In retrospect, I might have gone a little overboard. Best traps make their prisoners suffer and scream. Adventurers who visit my tomb die too quickly.
Having received the desired immortality, Acererak patiently waited for the completion of the Tomb of Horrors and then betrayed Orcus. He killed all the slaves who built the tomb for him, or maybe he tested his deadly dungeon on them first. He also enacted his revenge on a hated paladin by winning in a combat with him after gaining a lich power. Acererak trapped him in a prison called Sundered Tower of Moral on negative energy plane. Eventually, Acererak got bored with enacting endless torture and revenge on the Paladin and decided to continue his other schemes. He left a simulacrum, an exact copy of himself, to guard the tower with a prisoner. For 100 years, Acererak studied magic and also devised sophisticated traps for adventurers to descend into the tomb for treasure. Some traps simply struck the adventurers with electric shock of fire, others locked them in a magic mirror without the ability to get out, others simply disintegrated anyone in the immediate vicinity. Being fascinated with the time stop spell, Acererak spent many years modifying and revising it. He created 3 magic scrolls with the spell and named it Weight of the Weight. He put the scrolls on the obsidian monolith. Each of these scrolls upon the obsidian block was ensorcelled with the spell by more than 1000 years ago. Since that time, each scroll has been storing up the time in the immediate vicinity. The scrolls in this chamber are traps. Adventurers who stumbled upon the room with the monolith saw that the torchlights in the room were almost completely immobilized or frozen. The same thing happened with the adventurers if one of them was in the room. To everyone outside, everything froze in place. In fact, the time around the scroll flew 4 times slower. The scrolls were like temporary black holes sucking time out of space. If the scroll moved at least 10 feet from the original location, then everything around the scroll would instantly age for the stored amount, as it would be released instantly out. For example, if a party of an elf and 3 dwarves would have found and triggered the scroll, then perhaps only young elf could tell the story to anyone, if of course he would have survived the critical overload associated with that his body would have been aged by 1000 years instantly. Sophisticated traps didn't give a single chance to the tomb robbers, and therefore Acererak was known among other liches as the one who can be trusted with their phylacterias. More than a dozen were safeguarded by Acererak. As time went on, the lich began to notice that his power slowly began to fade. Every lich experienced this kind of professional burnout, and Acererak was no exception. To fuel their immortality, liches need to trap souls and feed their phylacteria with them. Acererak didn't do this and waited until his body crumbled to dust, leaving only a skull inlaid with the precious stones. While in a demi-lich form, Acererak was able to travel to the multiverses of the D&D, gaining even more power and artifacts, and also forcing captured slaves to build similar tombs everywhere with sophisticated traps into which adventurers and marauders would fall. The main idea of these tombs were to collect the souls of the fallen. Once in a dozen years, Acererak visited his tombs and took the souls of the fallen into his phylactery, powering it again. Stealing the souls of the adventurers, Acererak intended not only endlessly increase his power, but also to allow himself to perform a powerful ritual that would allow him to inhabit and control any dead in any universe and world, including possibly other liches, demi-liches, and other evil spirits. For that purpose, he intentionally spread rumors of vast riches in the tombs to lure their adventurers and great wizards to trap and siphon them. Acererak was killed at least 3 times, but each time he found a way to return despite the broken phylactery. The first time, he was killed in Tomb of Horrors because of his underestimation of adventurers. At the moment, realizing that his creator has been destroyed, the Acererak simulacrum left in the Sundered Tower Moil to guard the Paladin used ancient arcane engines of a negative plane, a soul machine, to become a real entity from simulacrum at the cost of hundreds of souls. However, he found himself unable to leave the tower and instead set his sights on the using the soul machine to ascend to Demilichdom. Behaving as a real Acererak, the simulacrum manipulated cultists and used them to spread rumors to lure adventurers to the Sundered Tower in order to harvest their souls to achieve the transformation. However, somebody alerted the adventurers of the plan and the lich was destroyed again. The time passed and a true Acererak managed to return back from lower planes where all lich souls travel when they utterly destroyed. Gary Gygax, in one of his Q&As on Acererak, mentioned that Acererak could be related and served one of the nether plane deity, and maybe that's how he got back to us from the never returning point. After his rebirth, he started to work on a new horrifying engine that would allow him to gather the souls and energy from dead and forgotten gods, allowing him to surpass deities in power. To achieve this, he required an artifact, a gem of a great strength, which he stole from the crown of Nerul, a god of death in Grayhawk universe. The machine barely worked, as adventurers again ruined the plans of the lich, destroying him. Through unknown means he returned to life again to plot and scheme against the world, however was defeated again. The fateful time happened in Toril on Chult, under the Tomb of the Nine Gods in the Tomb of Annihilation, which the Lich built to fulfill his schemes. Still driven by his vengeance on all humanity, the Lich created a huge machine inside the tomb, devouring the souls of those who fell in Faerun. The machine took away all the souls of the dead, preventing them from being resurrected. The machine was supposed to energize the Atropal, not dead but not a living creature, created by an evil deity and left drifting on the plane of the dead like a failed project. Being a state of neither dead nor alive, Atropal could neither be resurrected nor revived by any of the known methods.
Why be a god when I can be a creator of gods?
Acererak found a way. He found a place Atropal in the very depths of the Tomb of the Nine Gods. He planned to imbue him with the power of the stolen souls, thereby completing his creation. With transformation, the poor deformed creature would receive the power of the deity and would be loyal to Acererak. With the help of the reborn demigod, Acererak planned to destroy all life on Toril. However, the adventurers were able to defeat the Lich once again, though without destroying his phylactery, which the Lich, taught by the mistakes of the past centuries, hid on his own demiplane. You might ask, if the Lich is constantly defeated, is he a strong enemy? Well, from the lore perspective, he is deadly cunning and intelligent foe, with many artifacts and lots of experience behind his back. So yes, he is crazy deadly. From a technical perspective, according to 5th edition of D&D, this is a monster with challenge rating 23, 21st armor class, 300 HP, also 3 legendary resistances and 2 9th level spell slots, hello, and also very powerful magical artifacts that are capable of annihilating you in any vicinity. So yes, he is a very deadly foe. That's all. That's where Acererak's story ends, and maybe we will see him again and he will take back revenge on us. And I've left all the sources in the description, and if you like the lore, please press subscribe and like button and tell me in the comments below who else you would like to hear about. And see you next time.